What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. This was an ancient, I forget the exact history, but this is an ancient symbol that Hitler just took as his own and bastardized.
Yeah.
I feel like it was supposed to mean something of like peace, or it was supposed to mean something like nice, whatever it was. And then, you know, Hitler shoves it on every Nazi flag and suddenly it don't mean that. But,
yeah.
you know, that's just, I mean, that's the power of symbolism for you right there. It's crazy, you know. But it's nuts how their rise happens so quickly and their fall happens so quickly, and all that happened in that time. I mean, he didn't even get into power till 1932. He didn't even start making noise till 1927, 28, really.
Did you hear about his origin story, bro?
Tell us.
I mean, this will be a very bro version of his origin story, but it's kind of like a supervillain. Like, I guess he was in World War I, and trench warfare and everything. I guess like he survived a grenade blast that killed a bunch of people that he was standing right next to, and ever since then he was just like on a villain fucking mission, bro.
Yeah,
it's like a Avengers villain.
He's
the ultimate villain.
He blamed the Treaty of Versailles like on Jewish people, which was
CTE.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
actually, I've never thought
blast.
of that. Maybe because he was so fucked up in the head.
Yeah,
I mean, the amount of drugs they had that guy on, he was on everything, bro. Every meth. I think he was on like coke. He was on everything. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't.
He's just podcasting on stage, bro. Just like podcasting with that rage fueled by drugs.
Dude, there's another. We can't show it because it has copyright material. But you ever seen the video of Hitler performing "Where Brooklyn At" by Biggie Smalls?
No.
Oh my God, that's exactly what you think. Like, he was such a weird talker that they've re-edited him, you know, talking on stage, doing all this stuff, and it's like, I got my 7 Mac 11s on my 38. Like,
oh goodness.
And it's just like, oh my God. But there's stories that he was not.
You kind of sounded like Andy Milonakis when you rapped there.
Oh, I did?
A little bit.
That's a TBT.
Like white rapper.
That's funny as fuck.
I got my 7. He goes, I got my Lees on my head, but don't call me a Lee head.
Yeah. That was it. But he, you know, there's stories that when he wasn't on stage, he was supremely not charismatic. He was like a boring, fucking quiet, socially awkward dude. But something would happen when that motherfucker got on a stage where, you know, he's spewing just hatred everywhere to anyone he doesn't like. But he managed to do it with charisma that just hypnotized people. And I you know, I always try to put myself in the shoes of like people who get caught up in that group. But you were talking about tribes earlier. There's just something in us that can gravitate towards, I mean, we see it over and over again with cult-like figures that gravitates towards that and suddenly rewires our mind to get behind things that we never would have got behind. I just don't know what that is about us as humans.
Yeah. I don't know, man. He seemed like that when you say like he got on stage and just something clicked. I guess I can kind of relate to that in the sense of I did an event once. Not saying I'm like Hitler or anything, but like
I was like, where's he going with this?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I first noticed Tony Robbins said something similar, and he still says it on podcasts to this day. He goes, when I'm like in front of someone who it's a crowd of 5,000 people, and I ask, is there anybody in the room who's suicidal? If you're suicidal, stand up. And out of 5,000, just statistically, there's going to be 12 to 15 is what he said. And he goes, when I ask that question and I'm in front of one person in the middle of 5,000 people and we're talking about why they're suicidal and I say something to save them and talk them off the ledge, he goes, I have 100% success rate. I'm just talking what Tony Robbins' thing is, right? Yeah. And he said this in a moment during that documentary, right after he saved some dude's life. This just happened, right? put a camera in his face right after, and they go, how do you know what to say? Like, how do you know what happens? He goes, I don't know. Like, I just kind of turn off my mind and it flows through me. Like, he's talking like it flows through him. So like, it kind of reminded me of what you were saying about like Hitler. Like when he's in that crowd, he just switches off and it just happens. Like you're in the ultimate flow state right there, you know?
But it's also how you say it, you know, and that's what makes Tony Robbins so powerful, because the charisma and delivery, and he, you know, he's got a unique voice too. You know, like there's something to that. But if you say like, I'm going to come up with a very unoriginal line that's not beautiful, but pretend it's beautiful. Like you say to someone like that, hey, people want you here, man. Think of all the people who will miss you when you're gone, and now realize what kind of value you have in the world. It's not like good, but if you say it like, yeah, hey, people want you here, man. Think about all the value you have in the world and the people who would miss you if you were gone. That doesn't hit, but if you're like, think about the value you have, man. Think about all the people. Are you picturing your mother, your father, your wife, your kids? You don't think those kids love you? They love you so much. I know it's hard, right? You say it like that, you start to, that's a bad example, but like you get the point. Like if you say it in a way that makes people feel it,
right,
the words change.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. And he did that. And instead of like doing something positive, he was like, here's why we hate everyone. Yeah. And he was like, listen, we hate everyone. We hate them all. They suck. But you're going to be better for it. Yeah. You are going to be so better for it, man. And people were like, God damn it, yes I am. Let's make those concentration camps, God damn. Like that's what it just, people in their heads.
Bro, you just reminded me of a connection back to something we were actually talking about earlier.
Let's go.
So you know, like they were obsessed. He was obsessed with the Aryan race, and like he saw the Jews as the opposite of them, like dark hair, you know, rather than blonde hair, blue eyes. What was Maria Orsic?
Blonde hair, blue eye.
And they say that the Nazi Party, and you can like, I've looked it up. There's differing opinions on how the Nazi party was formed, but one of the leading theories is that real society that was led by Maria Orsic, which was a real occult society, that merged with another one. I said that earlier, right? To form the Nazi Party. But she claimed that these beings from the Aldebaran star system were, they called themselves the Aryans, right? The Aryan race. And was
it the Nordics?
It might, what they were called? We might call that them. I don't know if these are the same, and that's why like some of these other stories where they bring in like Nordic-looking beings, like what Travis Walton saw, right? Basically, Aryan type of race that the Nazi Party was obsessed with, right? Well, Maria Orsic basically fit the profile, and so did all the girls in that group, and she was claiming through her remote viewing sessions and communications with these beings that they were the Aryan race and this is what they looked like. And so they're giving him these wonder weapon blueprints, right? And so that's where if you actually kind of look into this stuff or even start believing some of this stuff, you go, holy shit, like was this whole thing started because of his obsession with literally extraterrestrials?
Could it? I've heard a lot on that because, like we were saying, like also the occult thing, like in general, which can tie some of that in. That's something I got to go deeper on too. I know you've looked at a lot of that. I've looked at some of that. Like it could be, and it's a part of the big secret, whatever the secrets of that war and the aftermath are. Like that's in there. Your guess is as good as mine, though. I just, you know. We talk in pop culture now so much about this UFO phenomenon, especially like the last few years, last couple in particularly, but you know, the last 3 to 5 years has become a bigger thing. For so long before that, not many people talked about it. You know, like it went away. But as long as humans have been here, they've been able to look up at the sky. And for you know, thousands of years, I think like a couple thousand, we've known there's planets, right? Yeah. And we know there's a solar system.
I mean, the Egyptians clearly knew.
Right. Right. You look at some of the stuff that's real. I'm not talking like the ancient aliens type narratives. Like there's real stuff. We're going to get to that in a minute. But like, it's always been a question to people. but why does it go in spurts of people being interested? And maybe a better way to say that, why does history, like historians, not talk about the people of major times in history and their interest in that stuff? Like, why don't I hear a lot about Leonardo da Vinci thinking about that? Which is something apparently he did. I got to look more into that,
Yeah.
but I've heard that recently, right? I'm reading his biography right now, so maybe that'll come up. But like, why don't people talk about that? Why don't people talk about, you know, the Nazis' relationship with this stuff as much? I mean, these motherfuckers were crazy.
Yeah.
And they lived, I mean, they're still living in South America,
Yeah.
apparently. But like, they
that's
were
the grand
around 80 years
conspiracy.
ago. That's not a long time ago. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.